Hi everybody, Michelle McLuhan, astrologer and life navigator, and I'm bringing you an astrology update for the next new moon, which is happening on the 29th of January, so finishing off the month of January and starting a whole new lunar cycle. So as we know, new moons are always a time of new beginnings. It's a time to plant new seeds, and this one really kind of starts to kick off what we're going to be experiencing in 2025. Which promises to be a year of great, great change. I know we often say that in astrology, but this really is, these are the times of change that we've been kind of preparing for, I guess. So if you look at the new moon, I really see this as a frequency shift, as a time where we can actually really get in touch with our authentic vibration, our authentic being, and we can actually make this shift and transcend the old. It really is quite potent, and it bodes not just for the month, but for more than that, because it's connected, the new moon is connected with much bigger cycles. So I'll try and unpack it for you to see if that makes some more sense for you. This new moon is in the sign of Aquarius, which means that the moon and the sun come together in Aquarius. And in the same sign of Aquarius, we also have the planet of communication, which is Mercury, in a connection with Pluto, which I've spoken a lot about. Pluto has been on a very long journey in Capricorn and has now moved permanently into Aquarius for the next 20 years. And it's aligned now with Mercury. Over the last week, it's actually been building up to this, and we would probably have experienced some intensity maybe in our lives, because it's actually been connecting, Pluto's been connecting with the sun and now moved on to connect with Mercury and is actually kind of pulling in that sun energy as well. So all this is actually saying that this is a new time, a time to move into a new frequency, particularly because Pluto has this very, very long cycle. So this is kind of opening the gate. It's a portal into that Aquarian energy. And the Aquarian energy really is about higher energy. Aquarius is the water bearer, so a lot of people see it as a water sign, but it is not a water sign. It's an air sign. The little waves in the Aquarian glyph, or the Aquarian symbol, represent sound waves or energy waves. It's waves of energy. But what the symbolism actually suggests with the water bearer is that new consciousness is being poured into our awareness. And that is what this cycle in Aquarius is actually about. It's really about us transcending the old and stepping into this new awareness. Now, just before I continue with the new moon, to support this energy, my partner John and myself are starting our next Journey to Freedom course, which is starting on the 6th of February. And it starts with a free week called Vision 2025, which kind of sets you up for the year. It helps you to actually hone your energy and your frequency towards what you actually want to manifest in the year and in the years to come. The free week is basically a week where we'll be meeting for two 90-minute Zoom calls, and you'll be given a lot of supportive material as well in your own portal. And then that begins our 13-week journey, which is the Journey to Freedom. We have run 15, I think, or 16 of those since the onset of COVID in 2020. And we have really helped people to actually transcend the mind and to move into a place where they can actually deal with change and where they can actually get mastery over their mind, so not ruled by the mind, and move into a higher state of awareness, which is actually what this energy is all about. So if you like, have a look at our website. The link will be below, and join us for the first week, see if it resonates with you. But it's really, this energy is supporting this change, this shifting of frequencies, because a lot of us are feeling sort of that we're in between worlds, that the old world is still here, but it's not really working very well, and the new world hasn't really been born. So it feels like we're kind of in that limbo state between the old and the new. So this will actually help us to move more fluently and fluidly into the new. So we'd love you to join us for that. It's going to be a very, very potent one, this one, because we've got the energies supporting it. So going back to the new moon, The other alignment that we've got the Sun and the Moon in Aquarius, and we've also got Mercury and Pluto. Pluto being the planet of transformation, Mercury being the planet of the mind. So it's basically the transformation of the mind. It's also, Pluto is I call him the plumber of the zodiac. So what he does is he goes down beneath the surface and pulls up whatever's there onto the surface so that we can actually see it. So what he's doing right now, or what the energy is doing rather, is it's actually bringing our thought patterns up into the surface so that we can see them and transcend them, because it's the planet of transformation, transcendence, death, rebirth, and regeneration. So this energy together, just those two energies, plus the Sun and the Moon in the sign of Aquarius, is helping us to see it from a higher perspective. Aquarius is very much about lifting our perspective so that we can see from a higher perspective. It's not about getting involved in the drama. It's actually about removing ourselves from the drama and putting ourselves into a state where we can observe and then respond rather than react. Because when we're in the drama, and we're in the drama of our pain bodies, which are basically formed by our conditioned mind, it's very difficult to actually then see the bigger picture. And that's what Aquarius is saying. How do we see the bigger picture? How do we see it also from a more intuitive base rather than a discerning kind of mind-based awareness? So I'm going to go into that as well, because there's another very strong alignment that's actually supporting that. So this energy is really about liberating us from the old, bringing those patterns up onto the surface. We might find that there is leading up to and around this new moon, we might find that there are some intense communications with others. Some people might feel a bit heavy. It can be a little bit of a heavy energy, but on the whole, I think it's actually a bit lighter than that. We could find sort of a triggered energy depending on your birth chart, and depending on where these alignments are playing out in your birth chart, you might feel a bit triggered by it, because it's really the energy of change. The other thing that's kind of amplifying the energy is that the ruler of Aquarius is the planet Uranus, which is the planet of change, unpredictable happenings, sudden happenings, things sort of feeling very kind of electrifying. And Uranus, which has been retrograde for the last while, is now stationing. So it means that it's sort of, from our perspective, it looks like it's still before it actually moves into its forward motion, which means that it's a very, very potent time. Because when a planet's, it's called stationing. When a planet stations, the energy of it becomes stronger. So that happens the day after the new moon. So there's a strong energy of change. So I think it's really, this new moon is telling us to really embrace change. Don't push it away. Don't think it's wrong. If you're feeling a little bit sort of agitated about where you are in your life, just see it as part of this journey of change and transcendence. Don't get too caught up in the stories that you might be telling yourself, and expect change, because there's change happening. We are obviously going to see a lot more change in terms of AI, in terms of, and I've been saying it for a long time, I think in the next few years, we're going to be seriously asking ourselves what it means to be human. With the robotics that are happening, with AI taking over many jobs, we are really reassessing who we are as humans, what we are as humans. What does it mean to live an authentic, aligned, content, happy, fulfilled life? That's what we're going to be working with. So that's what we're working with also in our journey over the next few months, journey to freedom. So this is very much a time of telling the truth as well, and just allowing those patterns to come up so that you can see them without judging them as bad. If you're in a situation where life feels unclear or life feels a little confusing, see that as also part of the process. It's not wrong. Now, the other thing that's happening, there's a whole nother alignment that's happening as well, because in astrology, we don't just look at one thing, we look at everything. Everything's connected to everything. And we have a stellium, which means a group of planets in Pisces. Now, it's quite significant because two of the slower moving planets, this being Saturn and Neptune, are moving out of the sign of Pisces this year. So there's a major kind of ending of a cycle that we're experiencing this year. There's no doubt about that. But in this new moon, we have the North Node, which is the karmic axis. It's one part of the karmic axis in Pisces, very closely connected to Neptune, very closely connected to Venus, as well as Saturn's in Pisces as well, a little distance away. So what does that tell us? That tells us a whole nother story, because the nodes are the nodes of karma. They have been moving through the signs of Libra and Aries, and they've just moved into and onto the Pisces Virgo axis. And the south node of the moon is in Virgo, the north node of the moon is in Pisces, and that is the dynamic that we're going to be working with over the next 18 months. Now, what does that mean? Well, the North Node represents our destiny point. It represents where we're moving as a collective and personally, because what it'll be doing is it'll be working with your particular chart in the area of where this alignment is with the North Node and the South Node. So I see this as a major move as well, because the South Node, which is in Virgo, is what we're actually not necessarily moving away from, but what we're integrating in our lives, and what we're actually sort of downplaying, and what we're moving towards is determined by the North Node. This applies to all of us, and it's much longer and much more long-lasting than, for example, just a new moon or a full moon, because this is going to be working with us for the foreseeable future. So what does this mean? Well, the North Node, being in Pisces, ruled by Neptune, which is the king of the ocean. It's the ocean of awareness. Pisces and Neptune rule all things spiritual, all things connected, all things intuitive, psychic, that knowing that we get at any one moment that is not in the mind. The South Node, which is Virgo, is very much mind-oriented. It is the sign of discernment. Yes, no, right, wrong, past, future, good, bad, which is it's very necessary in our lives to have a mind, but not to let the mind rule us. So what this alignment is telling us in combination with what I've said about Aquarius is, how do we actually use the mind, but how do we transcend it when we need to? So in other words, how do we move away from letting the mind run the show, and what do we do then? How do we connect? How do we move forward in our lives? And that is very clear with this move, which is moving into this place of the higher knowingness as opposed to the lower knowingness. The South Node, which is in Virgo, relates to our skills, our abilities, the work that we do, the mind-body-soul connection, our health. And what we're being asked here is, how do we make better use of our energy? If we feel that we're actually not using our energy to the best, the highest potential, how can we actually adjust maybe our routine, which is Virgo? How can we say, what are we eating? What are we eating for breakfast? How are we eating? Are the foods that we're eating feeling like they're actually doing us good or not? What is the water saying? Because water is huge. I mean, we are 70-80% water. So what water are we drinking? And bearing in mind that water has an energy, because Pisces is a water sign, right? So water has an energy. It has a memory. So everything that we put into our bodies actually works with our whole energy system. It feeds our cells. And that includes our thoughts. So whatever thoughts we're putting into our awareness also affects our health and affects our well-being. So this is really potent in terms of what are those old conditioned thought patterns that we keep on saying without even thinking about it. It just comes out because it's this old pattern that's running. And how can we actually transcend those patterns? So to be aware of it, to use this Aquarian energy to pour this new consciousness into our awareness. And we do that by being quiet, by being still, and connecting with our inner knowing. That is the North Node in Pisces, without doubt. It's connecting us in a more potent way with our intuitive knowing, not with our minds. The other just part of this that I want to mention is that it's also related to our gut biome. And, thinking and knowing that the gut is the second brain. So what is the gut telling you? What is your gut biome telling you? How is your gut? What's your digestive system like? Does it need a little bit of help? If the gut's not happy, we're not happy. If the gut's not sorted, it's actually very difficult to transcend those old patterns. So just looking at that as well, bringing that into the equation too. So this is very potent energy. I think that if you were born beginning in middle 60s, you would be feeling this quite a lot, because it would mean that Pluto in your chart is in the sign of Virgo, and for mid 60s people, Uranus is also in the sign of Virgo, which means that this alignment over the next 18 months will actually be working with you and your evolution even more. Not that it won't be working with all of us, because it will. And also Chiron would have been in Pisces when you were born. And so this alignment's going to be connecting with your Chiron. So anybody also with anything like the sun, the moon, the ascendant, or the personal planets in Virgo and Pisces, this will work very, very strongly with this nodal axis entry. And then obviously the new moon with Aquarius will be working with the fixed signs. So that's Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, and Taurus. You'll be feeling it even more. But obviously everything is related to your natal chart. So you need to look at the natal chart to see how it connects with you personally. And you can do that by booking an appointment with me if you like. And my details are below. I'm considering running a course, an astrology course, just for us to understand our charts more, not to actually become an astrologer. So if you are keen on that and you would like to know more about that, maybe drop me a line on an email. As I say, the details are below, and then I can put you on the list and let you know when I do actually launch that, because I'm getting more and more people asking me for that. I have drawn a card because I felt that this was very strong energy. I know this is quite a long reading, but the card that popped out is just so beautiful that I have to share it with you. It came out of the Oracle of the Sacred Horse, which is a deck that I've been using because it's just very, very beautiful. These cards are stunning, and this is the image of the back of each card, and it was actually the image that came through today as well. The card is Encantada, beauty and light, transitions, healing, darkness, cleanse. It's very aligned. It's just amazing how these things work, It moves us into a place where we actually start to really trust the process of life, trusting life. That is what this nodal axis is about. That's what our journey is about, is learning how to align with the wisdom and unbelievable beauty of life and allowing it to unfold rather than forcing it, rather than forcing the river. So Encantada is showing you to hold your back straight, your shoulders level, and your head high with confidence and dignity. Imagine the beauty and energy of roses surrounding you. The roses are here to enhance your space and cleanse your aura. Own this pure vibration as a spiritual being on the physical plane. Step into the future and into the light, for this is true beauty. Isn't that beautiful? That's so aligned with the North Node, Venus, and Neptune altogether. Encantada knows you would like to step forward in your life. She knows you want to feel beauty, inner beauty, and strength, and that you have the light of divine supporting you on your journey. Yet she senses that an aspect of your life, gifts, or true nature has been in the shadows for some time. And though you want to emerge into the light, it can be scary. By the way, this actually relates very, very strongly, Neptune and Venus, to the artistic, the creative side of us, which is actually really wanting expression and to be honored. Troubles of the past may hamper your ability to feel confident. Please remember that you're a creature of the light. In Encantada's eyes, you can do no wrong. Step into your next expression and allow beauty to shine from inside your being onto the path you travel. And I'm just going to say there, on the level of the divine, you can do no wrong as well. Transitions can require movement from higher and lower energies. You have healed the darkness within you, and it's time for higher vibrations. Give extra care to your body and your entire being during this transition. Feed yourself only that which gives you nourishment and well-being and keeps your mind and vibration strong. Stretch your limbs, strengthen and lengthen your back. Breathe deeply. Prepare for the steps you're about to change. I'm going to say prepare for all the change because there's change happening. So we need to strengthen our bodies and our souls and our gut and our connection. Your potential is limitless. No matter how often life has felt heavy or burdened, you return to the light. You have done so much courageous work on yourself. You have shed layers and layers of old habits and energy patterns that are familiar yet not yours. There will be other layers to shed, but don't be mired in doubt. Cleansing is part of the process of living. Your true self knows only kindness, love, and enthusiasm for life. Everything else is an old pattern. It's not true. Embrace the energy Encantada wants to transmit to you. Be open and seek a deeper connection by being confident in your worth and goodness. Then quiet your mind and ask for Encantada's guidance. She will be with you throughout your journey. Feel her presence and trust that she is here with you. When Encantada appears, be ready to shine your warm, glowing light to demonstrate the gift of being your true self. Some may turn from your light, and others may be in awe of it. In the school of life, it's prudent to understand the human propensity to judge. Becoming triggered by judgments can no longer be your way. It's separation as soon as we judge. Allow the energy of the roses that surround you to absorb these detrimental comments so you're free to express your true self. And that's detrimental comments that come from yourself too, your own brain, your own mind. How another responds to your self-expression is of no concern to you. You are here as an example of beauty. Trust your unfolding path. Trust Encantada. Trust your inner knowing. Trust that. Trust that guidance. She will be here as you light up your life. The questions that we can ask ourselves: are you ready to step into an aspect of your life with courage? Have you disowned any aspect of your light being? If so, what might change if you embraced it? Are there times when you lose your light and power by worrying about what other people think about you, and also, I'm going to say, worrying about the future, worrying about the past? Do you feel you are a beautiful being of light? What would it take for you to bring love into your entire being? How might that influence your path? It's beautiful. What would it take for you to bring love into your entire being? How might that influence your path? Because at the end of the day, we actually are love. That's our true being. Our journey to freedom is actually, we could call it the journey to love, because that's what we actually work with and dance with. The energy of what we are already, not what we've done wrong, not what we still have to do, but who are we really at the deepest part of ourselves? Those are the questions that we're asking as we move into this year and into this new dimension of consciousness. So thank you for listening. I hope this has helped you. And if it did, please share it because it gets the message out. Comment because that also helps with the algorithm or whatever. And like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for listening and watching. And I'll see you in about 2 weeks' time. Take care.